Grower tips for a more profitable 2013, brought to you by the LibertyLink trait and Liberty herbicide from Bayer Crop Science. And we're here at Peterson Farm Seeds, Prosper, North Dakota, where LibertyLink soybeans have been on the menu for a number of years. Carl, how did the LibertyLink soybeans compare to Roundup Ready beans last year?
You know, there's two ways you can look at that, Mick. One way is, how did the customers feel about the beans in the field? And our customer base felt that they were equivalent to, or perhaps slightly better than the Roundup beans that they were also growing. The other way is we do an awful lot of replicated research, and we test them in the same plots versus each other. And in 3 years, the LibertyLink beans have been just 1/10 of a bushel better, which really is insignificant. So you'd have to say the yields have been equal.
How do resistant weeds impact a grower's bottom line?
Anytime you've got weeds in the field, you're losing income. And if you've got resistant weeds that not only affect the yield this year, but put all those weed seeds back in the soil, that has a long-term effect. I love Roundup resistant crops. That's just been fabulous because it made it much easier to manage weeds. Now, before that, we had very complicated weed control strategies. Now with the resistant weeds, we're starting to come into a place where it's not as simple as it used to be, and we have to think a little more aggressively and a little more broadly about what our strategies are going to be. And LibertyLink is a key component to managing those resistant weeds.
How has weed resistance changed local management programs over the last few years?
A lot of people are going more to pre's than there were pre-emergence herbicides. A lot of growers were just going with 2 shots of Roundup. We did that for a number of years on our farm. That was really not a very good idea. So adding more modes of action into the weed control strategies is the primary strategy to combat those resistant weeds.
What steps do you recommend growers take to minimize yield loss from glyphosate-resistant weeds?
The keys are, we have to know what weeds you've got out there. Are they resistant, or are there just weeds that maybe are a little more difficult to control? Then you need to look across your whole system. As I mentioned earlier, if you're a sugar beet grower, you need to preserve that at all costs. If you're in a longer rotation, you've got some more flexibility there. I would certainly not suggest that growers abandon Roundup Ready crops, but you need to use all the tools available, and the LibertyLink system is one of those tools, and it's a very good one.
How does the use of LibertyLink and Liberty herbicide positively affect growers' return on investment?
Killing weeds has always got a positive return on investment, and if you've got weeds that you can't kill in a field with your current system, and the LibertyLink allows you to do that, that's going to obviously return hugely to your bottom line.
Results are in. Year after year, LibertyLink growers reveal that they are extremely satisfied with their high-yielding varieties and the powerful weed control of Liberty herbicide. Brought to you by the LibertyLink trait and Liberty herbicide from Bayer Crop Science.